Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Inspired Books Group coaching call. Today is October 22nd, and I am glad to be back from my vacation. It was a great vacation. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. But we were just about to hear how Lena's presentation went. So, Lena, feel free to take it away.
Wow. What should I say? I guess it's like the door opened for me after I launched my ebook, and then my friend said, "Oh, can you quickly come up with a curriculum from your book, and then to be able to share in the small ministry under prophetic evangelism?" And I said, okay, let me pray about it. So anyway, it was a 2 hour session. I broke it up into two sessions. Yeah. Fairly challenging because God has been very good. When I accepted it, I think I've been asking. I say, so God, what do you want me to say? Yeah. So I had a few dreams, and I knew that the Lord wanted me to talk about worship from Romans 12, 1 to 2. And then and Matthew 6, 33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was, I felt that it was a bit challenging because of my training. Like in Bible school, we were taught to um, preach, right? When I was in Bible school. So when we preach, we were encouraged to do full script.
Mm.
So that was what I wanted. I was doing, like, I was trying to do full script, and I realized that I was almost writing a book.
Oh,
Yeah. And then, on the other side, I had training to be like trainer or teachers to adult learners. So I came to a point, like it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do full script. I'm just going to go with what I like a lesson plan, a
yeah,
session plan.
yeah,
Yeah. So that worked out much, much better. Yeah.
good.
I didn't really stick a lot to my flow and my notes, but I just committed it to the Lord. He knows the people, he knows what's good. Yeah, yeah. I'm just so thankful because I think, in some of my dreams that I have, I kind of like could foresee how the session would go. And it kind of went like the way I kind of dreamt. In a sense,
Mm.
it gave me peace. I mean, I think the Lord is assuring me, it's like, it's fine. You can read your notes, you can pause, you can flip your notes and, add in things that say jokes or say something that is not really related to my flow. So yeah, I'm thankful.
Good. That sounds awesome. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. Who else would like to share?
I'm
Well, so-
going on a retreat this week, Thursday through Sunday. I told
Oh,
everybody about it last week. It's my ragamuffin camp
yeah.
that I go
I,
to.
I was thinking that was last week that you went there. That's this week.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's this coming week. I'm very, very excited and
Yeah.
trying to get everything done to be ready to go. And I, one of my girlfriends that doesn't believe in God at all is coming. She's one of my best friends, and I'm very excited she's coming. Um, Usually, whenever I go, I've been to this a couple times, and my plan initially, before I realized that she was going to come, was to do some planning for 2025 to just have some time because there's different sessions and things, but you have some downtime too. And so I don't know. I want to do some planning for 2025, and I actually wanted to kind of spend some time writing out my idea for what I want to do for the book, the end goal, and that kind of thing. And that's what I said last week that I really wanted to focus on, but I started thinking about it. I want to go into it more with just like, let's just see what happens. I'll have this stuff there that if I have time to do it, but I really want to be present for her
Mhm.
and just to see what happens. So, um, I don't want to be, I find that sometimes I'm so structured that I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to get done. And then I miss
Mhm.
the people right in front of me.
Yep.
And I don't want to do that. I want to be present for the people that are there. So,
That's good.
and
Yeah.
that may mean I have to take another weekend to go somewhere by myself and do, usually in December, I do my planning for the year coming up. But it feels like I'm already behind right now. So I thought maybe I get a jump on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Good. That'll be awesome. Susan, in case not everyone saw your post on Facebook, why don't you just briefly share what's going on with you?
I made a budget about what I need for next year, and I sat and I prayed about it a couple of times. And at the end of the last prayer, that I was really figuring out, now how am I going to make the extra money and not tap my small savings? And I got a call just as I was finishing my prayer, and I got an invitation for a part-time position through March. And guess what? It happens to be the exact amount of money that I needed. So, I mean, at this point, you have to look up and go, okay, I
Yeah.
got your message. Thank you, God. So I will be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. It was supposed to start this week, but HR is dragging their, no, they're not dragging their feet. They're just doing their job. And it takes them a while to do it. My future supervisor's not happy about how long it takes them to do it, but they're doing it. And so I'm hoping it'll be next week. But so that meant I got to slip in on another call here. And if they don't start me next week, I'll get on another one. I'll be on my Tuesday calls until I get pulled to have to work. But that's okay. All is good in the world.
So that's the bad news. We don't get to see Susan on Tuesdays anymore.
You'll be okay.
No, I don't think we will. I don't know. We're gonna go through withdrawals and
oh my goodness, I'm not quite used to this attention. As far as my writing goes, I've tried 3 times to sit down and work on this chapter that is a bit tough for me. And I keep spinning out of control and don't get a lot accomplished. So I may have to take a different approach than trying to finish that chapter right now.
Yeah, just write on something else. Come back to
I
that
will.
maybe.
I'm going to have to, because I go back to it and I just kind of can't quite get everything to quit spinning in my head and get much accomplished. And that's not a good thing. So I need to get out of that loop and concentrate somewhere else a little bit. I know I'm like you, I'm organized. I want to get this done and I want it in this order and I want it, da 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 da. And I'm not going to work like that. So I need to go back to plan C.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes when we try to force it, that's when we get just blocked because we're trying to force it. So if you set it aside, work on some other chapters, then next thing you know, that chapter will probably just start to flow. One day you'll just be like ready to write it and it'll just flow because it's just going to come more naturally maybe rather than you trying to force it.
Well, I've got 2 or 3 really tough ones and I kind of went, okay, well, apparently it's not going to be this one this time. So, but I'll work through it.
Yeah.
This whole writing process is new for me. So, I'm finding out biggest roadblock a lot of times is me.
Well, and I think writing it's especially like the first book, that I wrote, it's like I learned a lot about me, through the process. And it was a healing journey that I didn't even realize I needed. It was, just a growth period. And so I think, for me anyways, writing my first book was so much more than just the book. It was just, and I think, as you're writing something like what you're writing and what Sam's writing is, you gotta let it process, and if you need to set it down because it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff and it's not as easy to write as some other types of books, so if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stressed or whatever, let it go for a while, work on something else because it's being too forced, I think. And we can put these pressures on ourselves, but then when you're dealing with a topic like that, it can just, things can stir up things that you didn't like I said, for me, I was healing. I didn't even know I needed, because I had no problem writing my book. I didn't feel I didn't have any like really bad memories or anything like that come up, but I discovered that there was something in my life that I didn't realize was related to that, you know, and God healed it. So just yeah, let it be a process and go with how you feel.
Trying.
You're doing good. I'm not worried about you at all. You're
Worry
doing
about me
good.
sometimes.
But keep in touch. You know, you've got the Facebook group all the time. You can always post out there. If you need to email me on something, let me know. If you have a question that you want answered, either put it in the Facebook group or email me and I can, you know, I can give you a short answer maybe like on Facebook, but then I could address it here on the calls so that everyone can benefit from it and it can go more into, you know, a deeper explanation or whatever if need be. So,
I will be watching the calls.
okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Connie, you have anything to report?
Well, it's been an interesting time for me. I have been inundated with a lot of family calls. We're transferring my mother from one group of caregivers to another, and there's been all kinds of things to come up, just administratively, what they need and what we have, and all of this. And then my mother's been calling, and my sister still has not found another position. So she's kind of looking like Susan was looking, you know, for something. And we prayed, and she went to work for Hobby Lobby for a little while, but she has had some back surgery before, and she couldn't remain on her feet that long. So all things going this all so my time has been affected. So now I am trying to reorganize my time. And I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to work at night after everybody else is gone to bed, and work like from 10 till midnight, because I think that time at least it will be quiet and people will not be calling needing, you know, attention and problem solving. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because I think I don't need that. I think once I hit it and finish, it's just going to go really fast.
Yeah.
So this has just been a frustration for me, but praise God, I think I've got a plan and I'm going to implement it. I may be drinking a little more tea at night, but but then when I'm done, I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
I've got the basics done, and I want to knock it out because the enemy has just been trying to delay what, and I'm close. I'm close to getting.
Yeah.
And the other one is already written with the articles because they're already written.
Right.
I just have to organize it. So
Yeah.
hallelujah. So anyway, that's where I am at the moment. Yeah. So y'all just pray with me and for me that this new time frame will work. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, good. Hi, Nat.
Hello.
How are things going?
I'm good. I just was on another meeting and had to tell them I have to go. But yes, I just found out about something that y'all may be interested in. I was getting ready to get off and they started talking about a new law that we had to fill out forms, and it is called the FINCIN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. I go like, what in the world? But there's, if you have a corporation or LLC, you have to, as of January 2024, you have to fill out these forms with the government. And if you don't, if you miss the deadline, there's a fine every day that you don't do it. And I'll go like, oh, I'm glad I'm a procrastinator because I have is that what you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just felt like I didn't even know that existed. I don't have a corporation or LLC yet, but I don't know if it's for a sole proprietor or whatever. But that is like a well-kept secret, I guess, because I didn't receive anything. Is it because I'm not an LLC yet, or to know
Yeah, and
about
I
that?
don't remember how I got notified. I have a company that files my paperwork for me so that I don't forget to do it. And I don't know if they sent me this or where I got it from, but yeah, it's also called the BOIR, BOIR, Beneficial Ownership Information Report, which is all part of that. So, yeah, and I am an LLC, so I can't tell you if it's for sole proprietors or not. I have no idea. It is something new though, and I, I think I did get this from that company because I'm like, well, what in the world? Why do I got to fill this out now? And like it said something about it being mandatory or whatever, and I filled it out online. Just go online and filled it out, but yeah, otherwise I had not heard about it, and then I did hear about it just like last week from somebody. They mentioned it as well, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where
No,
this.
that was a big surprise. I'm
Yeah.
going like, well, thank God I didn't do an LLC yet. I mean, only because I just started it but didn't finish it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, just kind of.
Sam, you're in business. Have you heard of this? Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No, I haven't. So yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's new to me. I would be glad to look at the information if you send it to me though.
I put the acronyms because if you put the acronyms in there, it'll come up.
Yeah, put like, yeah, FCEN.
Got it. I
Or,
see it here.
okay. All right, good. FINCEN.gov. Okay.
We'll be glad to look at it though.
Yeah, something to consider. If you're in business at all, look at it. And if you have a business name filed with the state, even if it's sole proprietor, you might want to look into it. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'll look at this. Thank you.
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Because I didn't, when I first got it, I didn't really think a whole lot about it. I just thought it was some form that they were sending me that I forgot to fill out or something like that. And I don't know what this is, but okay, And then last week, yeah, I heard somebody say something about some new form. So good. Hopefully she's watching the replays, but Mary, if you're watching the replay, please join us on Tuesday mornings. We want to get to know you. And this, as I was going to say, this is a family. Like, I mean, you guys have been with me, some of you since 2019, and consider you guys all friends and extended family. So, love when you join and are on camera. All right. So, real quickly, I was in Orlando, Florida. I flew down the day before the hurricane. And yes, I'm a crazy person, I like adventure. We watched it very closely though, and we knew in Orlando that by the time it hit Orlando, it would be a Category 1. And yes, you can still have a lot of damage and flooding and stuff with that, but it just felt like it would be okay to go. And it was. Where we were, we had very little damage. Some of the palm trees got topped off a little bit, and some minor little branches and leaves and stuff on the ground. But other than that, I didn't see any damage where we were. No flooding at all. Yeah, we had winds and we had rain, but we were in the very southern part of Orlando. Some of the northern part got flooded and other areas, but nothing where we were. So spent Wednesday and Thursday in the hotel, and Friday the sun was out and beautiful. The rest of the time I was there was in the 80s and hot and humid. Went to the pool every day and swam a little bit and laid out a little bit, read some books, and so it was good and relaxing. The other thing though that was a real highlight for me was, so we went to Saudi Arabia in May of this year, and I never got to meet the guys that Dwayne worked with. They treated him like royalty, gave him gifts, you know, they even sent home gifts with him for me. And I never got to meet him. Well, we were in Orlando for a trade show called FabTech, for all kinds of industrial machinery, and that my husband works for one. And so he was there to set up the trade show and to tear it down and everything. Well, these guys from Saudi Arabia came over for the trade show because they were interested in purchasing a couple more machines from his company. And so I got to meet them, his boss, threw a great big huge party on Tuesday night, which was the first night, just this last week Tuesday was the first night of the trade show. And so afterwards had a great big party for all the customers and, you know, employees, anybody who was there. And I got to go as a spouse. And so I got to meet these guys from Saudi Arabia. And they were the nicest young, I think they're in their 30s. So nice, so respectful and kind. And I just had a blast talking to them. And they talked to me like when we were at dinner, one sat by me and Dwayne was on my right, and then a couple of the other guys, and talked to me the whole time. And, you know, just because over there, some, especially the old school Saudis, women, you know, they don't really talk to women all that much, and they don't shake hands with women. And he reached out to shake my hand and everything when we met, and just super nice. Brought us another gift. So yeah, it was kind of a highlight. We just talked for hours. You know, we got to spend the whole evening with them, and just very, very nice people. So I was excited to get to meet them. And when they talked with my husband's boss about what they wanted to purchase, they specifically requested that my husband be the one to come over and install those machines. And his boss approved it. So, and then they also need some maintenance on the one that they have, and they requested him as well. So he's going back over this weekend to Saudi Arabia for probably 5 days or something, I don't know. And then in the spring, whenever the machines are done, he'll go over and install those. But so yeah, and he wants to bring his wife to America. She wants to come here. She's never been here, and they'd like to get together with us. So they'll probably do that next year, and we'll probably meet up with them somewhere and vacation with them. And just like, it's so, I never dreamed that we would have such a good relationship with somebody from a Muslim nation. And there is just absolutely no barriers, no walls up, like we're Muslim, you're Christian, you know, from either side. You know, Dwayne has had great conversations with them, and he's like a sponge. He likes to just learn. His name's Turkey, and just inquisitive. And I think he kind of looks to my husband as a mentor, because before he went to talk to Dwayne's boss, he's like, well, what should I say? What should I do? Because he had a gift to present to his boss as well. And, you know, and Dwayne's like, just talk business first and then give him the gift later. So it doesn't look like you're trying to bribe him. And so it's kind of cute in a way, you know. But I love, I don't know what God's doing with it all, but I love having this connection with this other culture that is so different than ours, and not just culture, but faith that's different. You know, they believe in God, so we can talk about God. It's just, and they believe in Jesus, they just believe he was a prophet, you know. And so it's just kind of fun and interesting. And I'm like, looking forward to where God's taking all of this, because never dreamt anything like this, you know. So it's kind of fun. So that was my trip. It was all good. I enjoyed it. Got a little bit of a tan. Can't really tell, but I do. So that was all good. And while I was away, so one of the books that I've been reading, and I found I don't know how I came across this guy. couple weeks before I went on the trip and ordered his book and took it with and read the book, and just like my eyes opened up, and I'm like, I need to share this with you guys because this is super important. And you guys might want to buy the book. It's called Don't Say That. And it's not on Amazon. You just go to don'tsaythat.com. Don'tsaythat.com. And it's by it's co-written by Greg Christensen, who is an attorney that specializes in Federal Trade Commission lawsuits, and then Anik Singhal, who was one of his clients. And so the Federal Trade Commission, it's FTC, Federal Trade Commission, is they monitor things like advertising law, privacy law, mergers and acquisitions, things like that. And of course, there's the FCC, which they focus on communication. And the Better Business Bureau, you know, I think you've all heard of the Better Business Bureau, where, you know, if anybody would complain about your company, you can complain to the Better Business Bureau and so forth, and you can have a rating. And all of these, if you complain to the Better Business Bureau, or you've complained to any one of the federal agencies, there is a central like database where all those things go to. So if you make a complaint or even a compliment, so to speak, to a company, it's going to go into that database, and Federal Trade Commission and everybody else is gonna see it. So what happened to this guy, and this guy was, let's see their pictures. This guy over here is the one that got sued. So his business, I don't even know for sure what his business all is, you know, but coaching and course and all that kind of stuff. But he had a very big, successful business, making millions of dollars. And he employed, he had a full-time, what did he call her? A paralegal on staff to look over everything. He had attorneys that he's like, what do I need to do to make sure I'm compliant? He ran his business like about as perfect as a person could run their business. And he still got in trouble with the FTC. And so first of all, I'll just tell you right off what he got, the biggest thing he got caught for. And they say it's 4 words. What are your goals? What are your goals? And we're like, what? Like, why can't you ask somebody what their goals are? Because it's implied that, you know, based on his business anyways, implied earnings, you know, when you start talking about it. And this guy, he said, so he talked about in the book how he went through some health scare. And he said, before this, like years before this happened, he said, I would rather go through that again. Like he almost died. And he said, I'd rather go through that again than deal with the FTC ever again. It was a 1.5 years or more of him going through it. They wanted everything from the beginning of time. He had to hire forensic people to be able to go and pull things that he had no idea how to pull them. It was a nightmare, like anything and everything. If you ever recorded phone calls, you know, webinars, emails, advertising, social media posts, absolutely anything and everything that you could think of, he had to provide to them. And he had pulled his 6 top employees, and they worked full time for, I think he said 8 months, just pulling all this data along with the people he had to hire to do stuff. And so he's on a mission. He co-wrote this book with the attorney. The attorney wrote most of it since he's the expert. Excuse me. But he's on a mission to educate people And he has ruined me for life because now I can't look at anything. I mean, literally probably 99.9999999 of every person out there is non-compliant. Without a doubt. When you start reading what you can and cannot say. Actually, he has another book coming out that says what you can say or something like that. So this book's really dives into what they're looking at. And they charge like $50,000 per incident of a violation. And then if you can't pay that, you can file for ability to pay thing. And then if you do that, now you have to give them all of your personal finances as well. And that means everything. You have to give them everything. And if you can liquidate anything, they'll make you liquidate it. Like they might make you sell your house. They might make you sell your car. They might make you cash in your 401k or, whatever. So there's lots of things, they mean business. And there's really, he said for the most part, they were good to work with, but the law was the law and there's no negotiating the law. But like if he needed an extension, they gave him an extension and they let him negotiate. I think his fine down from, I can't remember how many million down to about 2 million. So, so you don't want that happening. So I wanted to just go over some of the things and I might not finish today, so I might do more of this next week. But, as authors, really it comes into what your, the marketing. But if you would put stuff in your book that's not true, my guess is somebody complained, they could still come after you. The bottom line is just tell the truth for one, but it's not just about the truth. Even if it's the truth, you can't necessarily say it. So I'm going to just go over some things kind of that were in the book. And, I'm just going to touch on them, but I recommend you buying the book. Again, it's don't say that. I don't get any commission for this. He does have like courses and coaching stuff like that, if you signed up for that, you could become an affiliate for him, which I did not do because I don't have that kind of money. But the book, I just want you guys to be safe as well. So there's a lot of different things that they look at. And some of these really kind of surprised me. They don't like what they call hidden fees. Now we all kind of know what hidden fees are, right? Like if you sign up for something, next thing you know, there's this little tax and this surcharge and you didn't know about it. Hidden fees, right? But some of these that you actually kind of know about, they consider hidden fees. There's booking fees. So I suppose like a hotel maybe, or a car or something. Resort fees. Service charges at restaurants. Processing fee. Application fee. Cancellation fee. Overdraft fee. Now that one really surprised me because an overdraft fee, you usually know about that when you're setting up your checking account. Seat selection fee. So does that mean the airlines really can't charge me to select my seat? Fuel charge fee. I mean, we've all seen these and some of them are disclosed. So, but they consider these hidden fees. And I suppose there's lots of different rules around them, and how they're presented to you. If they're in really tiny fine print and you don't know about it that way. So, I don't know all the details on that. And he kind of breaks down each one, I think, if I remember right. But I don't know that he goes into great detail on those. But those are some things. So if you think of just about that alone, it's like, whoa, if they don't like that, what else don't they like? They expect truthful advertising and they are interested in the impression that you are creating. And so what they call that is net impression. This is probably one of the biggest things that they look for is the net impression. The net impression is what's somebody going to walk away with when they see your ad or they're on your webinar and you're talking to them? What's the net impression? Are they going to walk away thinking, oh, so if I do that, I can make $100,000 in 6 months? You know, oh, if I do that, I can lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Whoa, you know, what's the net impression? Like, oh, if I do that, I can own a Ferrari. Oh, if I do that, I can own a beach house in Maui, you know, what's the impression that somebody takes away? So there's 5 areas that they broke down that it's not exclusive to these 5 areas, but these were some of the top areas that they said the FTC look at. So I'll give you them and then I'll start breaking them down. Like I said, I don't know that I'll get to all of them today, but so there's misrepresentation. That's number 1. Number 2 is net impression. Number 3 is claims. Number 4 is substantiation. And number 5 is testimonials. So number 5 kind of got me too, and I'll get into that one later. But let's look at misrepresentation. So there are 9 common types of misrepresentation. And the first one has to do with AI, which is, I mean, AI is, things are changing, and as technology changes, the FTC has to change their rules, and, you know, everything kind of changes with it. Along with that are fake profiles. So the AI bots and fake profiles. So that's one thing that they look at. With AI, there's a lot of bots being used, and they do not like you can't call somebody, text them without their permission. So they would have had to have signed up for that. And with that, even you need to probably have them sign a form that they agree to receive texts and calls or whatever from you. And there's somewhere he talked about forms. I think I have that somewhere in my notes here, but anyway, so using AI, one of the other things is manipulating photos, you know, to photos or videos, you know, to be non-truthful. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using an AI generated image. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking more about if you are altering a photo to give a false impression. So those types of things. The second type of misrepresentation is fake sales and discounts. So this was interesting, and this is what literally I think every coach on the planet does, and myself included, but I've never been comfortable with it, and I've not done it to the degree that other coaches do it because I've never liked it. I've only really done it with my course. And that is you putting the value on your product. So if any of you are planning on selling a product, you know, or you're doing a webinar and then you're going to have an offer at the end, and you're doing, if you've ever been on a webinar, and those of you who've been on mine, you see the offer stack, right? All these different things. And you'll see that, okay, this product is worth $10,000. But you know, and this product is worth 5,000, and this product's worth 2,000, and da 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 da. Oh, and the overall value of this is $35,000, and I'm going to give it to you for $997. FTC does not like that. The only way they say that you can do that is if you actually sold that product for that price. 1 sale doesn't count. 2 sales doesn't count. You had to have sold several, and whatever that means. you had to have sold several products at that price to prove that that's the value. So if you're going to say a product's worth $10,000, but you're selling it for 900, you better be able to prove that you've sold that product for $10,000. Otherwise, you just put the real value of your product.
It used to be that you had to have it offered somewhere for that price. But I know that they've changed it to where you've had to have sold it for that.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, he says that many times in the book, not just once, you can't just have your family member go buy it so that you can say you sold it. You have to have several. Has to be, one of the words he uses a lot in the book is typical. What is typical? And so this is something that, like, I'm just like I said, I'm ruined. Like, I'm so ruined. I can't look at anybody's stuff anymore because I'm like, that's non-compliant. That's wrong. You can't say that. I just saw a commercial on TV a couple days ago, and I'm like, no, you can't say that. Like, one of them was, I can't remember what it was, for something for your teeth, and you'll never have to go to a dentist again. Like, you can't say that. There's all kinds of reasons why someone has to go to a dentist. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a leap, man. That's a real leap to say something like that. But yeah, so these what they consider fake sales or discounts, they don't like it, and you're going to have to substantiate it. If you're going to claim that, you are going to have to back it up. So you're going to have the proof that you've sold that product for that price. So you're going to want to keep your records. If you want to come, all of a sudden discount and say, like, I've had things come in my email where they're closeout. It's a closeout. They're not going to do that anymore, that particular course. And so they deep discount it. It's worth this, but now I'll give it to you for $37 or whatever. So that's all fine as long as it's true and you have sold that product for that original price that you're saying it was, and you can substantiate it. Because if they want proof, you better be able to say, yeah, I sold 5,000 at this price, and now I'm discontinuing it, so I'm just giving it away for $37.
I see, I'm on the website. Looks like Lena put it in there, and I see somebody on the testimonial page that I know that is not compliant. No, I followed some of his stuff, and he's holding a picture of the book. I won't call him out right now, but I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's big. And I like I said, I'm like, I read this book. Well, first I heard his story, and then I took when you buy the book, you get a free master class. So you buy the book, and immediately it's going to ask you, when do you want to take the master class? And you just pick the date or whatever. It's recorded. And so, and I watched that, and I'm just like, whoa. And then I couldn't wait to get the book, and thankfully it came before I left for my trip, because I read this on my trip, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta relook at all my stuff. And I'm like, and some of the things that he has said, I'm like, yeah, that's I've always like, okay, really, your product's worth, I've seen this, $100,000, and you're selling it to me for $997. Really? I have literally been on webinars where they've given it that big of a value. And I'm like, no, and I can't do that, And like I said, the only reason I've given a value on my course is because that's what I've been told it's worth based on what somebody else's course is, and they're selling it for like $7,000. So, but yeah, I'm just like, well, yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree, because some of the stuff seems slimy and, whatever. And other stuff, people just genuinely think it's okay to say. And it does. It sounds okay to say, So anyways, that's a biggie that literally just about every single coach and marketer, whatever, on the planet does wrong. Is given a value to their product and they've not actually sold it for that price. Okay. Number 3 of misrepresentation is implying a connection to someone famous. So, for instance, a lot of times an influencer will be paid to promote a product. And then it's implied that, you know, oh, they're your best customer or something like that, when actually they were paid to promote it. You have to disclose that this was a paid endorsement. You know, you can't just make people believe that, you know, so and so is your best friend. And altering, like taking pictures of somebody, somebody famous, altering it, maybe superimposing you with it, using their image or, you know, their name or something. Or let's say you were even like you were at an event and they were a guest speaker and you got your picture with them, like you did with Russell, right? You got to be careful, you know, of implying that Russell's your best friend, you know, and, you know, that kind of a thing. You have to be very careful on how you use that stuff. You know, yeah, there's nothing wrong with posting a picture like, look who I got to meet and I got my picture with him and all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to use that in advertising, you better be careful to not be implying that he's endorsed your product.
Yeah, I've thought about that. But what I do know is that the insight I got from him, he helped me have clarity around what I'm offering.
Mhm.
And so I should be able to say that.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
so. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I attended this conference with Russell,
Yeah.
you know, that Russell Brunson was holding, and because of his insight, I got some
Yeah.
clarity. And yeah, there's,
And
'cause
come
you're not,
learn what I learned.
yeah, you know, I mean, you're not implying that he's your best friend or whatever. Just you attended this conference, and because of what you learned there.
I
through his-
also know, and you may have this on your list, but that if you are an affiliate for someone and you're sharing it on social media before they click the link to go there, it needs to say that it's an affiliate link or something to where there's disclosure that you're going to get something if they make a purchase
Yeah, it should be disclosed.
before they click the link. And I am an Amazon influencer and they make sure that we know all that stuff. And it's not just for Amazon, but
Mhm.
for anything. The FTC will, if they see that happening, they will get you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I'm not sure if I have that in, I don't remember. I remember him mentioning affiliates. I don't know if he mentioned that specific detail though. So that's good. That's good. Yeah. So just be careful about things like that, you know, implying anything that somebody, and even if a celebrity bought your product, if they want to promote it themselves, that's up to them, but you can't just take that and run with it. For one, you need their permission. You still need their permission. You know, so that's a biggie. I think I'm going to stop there today, open it up for questions so that we don't run too long, and then I'll go through more of this next week. Huge topic. In the meantime, if you want to buy the book and read it sometime, I highly recommend it, because you do not want the FTC on your butt. And interestingly, I'll just tell you this. A lot of people say, oh, I'm just small potatoes. They aren't going to come after me. They only go after the big guy. Not true. He said one case that he settled, the payment was the guy's watch. Now, I don't know what, it might have been a Rolex. I don't know. But the payment was his watch. So the guy clearly had no money. He probably filed the ability to pay thing, and they settled on his watch. So they'll go after anybody, especially if you have complaints. If anybody files complaints against you, you are now on their radar. And by the time you get a notice from them, you've been investigated for months, if not years already. It's not like, oh, we got a complaint, we're going to send a letter out to you. No, by the time you get a letter from the FTC, they already know everything about you. So yeah, at least quite a bit, put it that way. They've been following you, tracking you, all this stuff. So the book is very interesting, and really makes you go, wow. So and I'm just like on this, like I'm kind of on this mission, like I want to tell everybody about it now. Like just everybody. So anyways, questions, comments on any of that? Connie.
Wow. I don't know how this would not discourage people from now, which is probably what they want to do, because there has been so much untruthful and deceptive things that have gone out for advertising on the internet. I mean, yeah, this pair of shoes is the best pair of shoes. It is this brand or that brand. And then you get them in the mail and they're not the shoes that you sent for or whatever, you know. But anyway, yeah, it is a little intimidating. I don't know. I thank you for sharing, because I'm going to buy the book and I'm going to try to get, I don't know how. Is it hard enough to get, I mean, when you're being truthful and doing the work, it's hard to get a good reaction anyway, but
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
Wow, I
and
just don't know how to process everything
Yeah.
here, but I'll work on it.
well, and when you read the book, you're going to be like, he's going to tell you what you can't do. And you're going to be like, well, then what can I say? You know? And then, and he'll give you some examples of how you can reword something. But in the next book that he has coming out, he's going to dive into that deeper. But Anik, the one that was sued, he said he's changed everything that he needed to change, and he goes, and it hasn't hurt my business at all. And again, though, this is a guy who was very compliant. He was very compliant. But yeah, like what are your goals? Like I think they coached businesses on how to make more money and stuff like that, through his coaching or whatever. And one of the things that that the salespeople, the FTC claimed as they listened to recordings is, the FTC claims they said, when someone, said, these are my goals. Oh, I'm 100% certain we can help you with that. Well, the 100% certain was no. Now, Anik says no, he does not train his people to say that. So if they said that, that was on their own, because he doesn't agree with the fact that they said that. But still, because of the type of business, I think more than anything, by asking somebody their goals and they tell you their goals and then you try to sell them your product, it's implied to the FTC that you're going to help them, that they can reach those goals, when you have no way of knowing if they can reach those goals. And I mean, still, it's just like, seriously, I can't ask somebody what their goals are? Come on. Like, this is crazy. So yeah, it's going to leave you like, whoa. And you'll never look at another ad or join another webinar and be able to sit through without picking it apart. Annette.
Kathy, I think with I'm with you. There are a lot of things I saw that I have not. That's why I said, Lord, the more I learn, the more I believe the Holy Spirit just leading, and not going in certain directions, because some of the things are like what I'm developing for parents. I can't guarantee that their families are going to be turned around by taking my course, because there's too many variables. There's a lot of stuff is just common sense. You're going to be helped, you're going to improve, you will change, but it is going to be according to your willingness to implement, the program. And that is and even the cost, I go like, God, I wouldn't pay that, and I think that's the biggest gauge for me is even, what some of the things I have paid, and I say, you know what, it is worth that amount to me. Like, I paid before I came to Cash Jeanette's, I paid a person $5,000. I can't say because Cash Jeanette's didn't charge that type of money for coaching, but it depends on what you're trying to do and who you're trying to reach and how much time that you're spending trying to build it. If I'm 2 years out and I'm still trying to build the business, then I'm saying, well, maybe it is $5,000 worth if they are helping me build the business. So I think a lot of it is common sense. Some of it is experience. Maybe I say no this year, but then I say yes 2 years later because I'm going like, okay, I tried it by myself, and it's not working for me. So, that I think a lot of it's common sense. And I think when you say the integrity of, this man, when building up my program the other day, I was listening to, a seminar, and they were putting prices, different things that you would add for bonuses or whatever. And I wrote down all the bonuses and I said, God, that made it be like $100. Okay. But the thing is, I don't have to put a price beside it and say, this is the value of that. Because if a person is not organized, somebody helping them get organized, that just may be, a planner, but it helps them get organized. Then that's valuable to them, but I can't put a price on that.
Right.
And again, it gives me the illustration. I bake cakes from scratch for birthdays, and all my family knows that. And so they say, what's the rest? One of the family members says, so what's the recipe for this cake? It's really good. It's not like I'm going to make it or anything like that. And then she started laughing and say, I always remember that about when I'm offering my services, I can tell them how it helped me and how it can help you and the steps to do it. But they go like, I just want you to show me. I just want you to show me. I don't want to have to go through the research. I don't want to have to go through the years of experience. I just want you to show me how to do it, and I do it. So I think we just have to use some common sense on some of this stuff and go back to the good old days when, before all of the hype came. And, I'm learning more and more that we are in a culture that manipulates. And we have to make sure that the things we're doing are truly on the up and up. I don't understand how the news media gets away with what they get away with. I don't understand with how so many, because I'm going like, they're just blatant lies, and they tell it. So we have to just remember that we're in a culture that as long as I don't get caught, I'm going to do certain things because that's the way it's done, but it's not necessarily the way we should do it.
Yeah. 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 When I go through some of the stuff next week, you'll be surprised too at some of the things, because it's like, okay, so I can't even do that, which seems common sense. And maybe, there, and some things, yes, you can do it if you do this, and a lot of it's ignorance, just, like I said, he hired attorneys, to find out make sure how he can be FTC compliant. It wasn't this attorney. And the problem is a lot of attorneys, if they don't specialize in this, they don't know all the laws themselves. So, this guy, this is all he does for 20 years. He's even been in the FTC office, with them, listening to them and such. And so he's quite knowledgeable, and this is good knowledge to have. even if you're not doing a lot of marketing or anything like that, you probably don't want to put on your cover, lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. It's a book cover, but the net impression is I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. You might have all these disclaimers somewhere else, but the cover says, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm going to buy this book. And then I find out it's nothing at all. Well, I could complain about that. So give you something to think about, but go out and order the book. And then next week I'll continue on that some more. Any quick final thoughts?
My only thought is there's always been snake oil salesmen
Oh yeah.
throughout history.
Yeah.
It's not really new.
No. But times are changing, with all the technology and stuff, and so more and more things. But some of these things are a little surprising, actually. Like you can't ask somebody what their goals are. Seems like an innocent question, but I think it's more about who you're asking it to, why you're asking it, and what the implication is. What's your product? All right. Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys go and we'll continue with this next week. Don'tSayThat.com is where you can find the book. And I think it's the only place right now where it's at, as far as I know. I looked for it on Amazon. It's not there. So, all right. Take care, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.